Great.
We're lucky.
Good evening. Welcome to the St. Mary's County Emergency Services Board meeting, August 11th, 2021. My name is Gary Bell. I am the chair of the Emergency Services Board. With us tonight, we have Sean Davidson, our Emergency Medical Services Chief and Secretary of the Emergency Services Board. CP Medinsky, our County Fire Chief. Steve Walker, Director of Emergency Services. Dr. Dan Geary, Jurisdictional Medical Director. Hattie Norris, our Vice Chair of Emergency Services Board. With us tonight in our attendance, if you could just turn off your pagers or cell phones, that'd be appreciated. With that, we'll move into our agenda. And first off is a review and approval of minutes.
Move to approve the minutes as posted.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. I guess first on our agenda will be the CAD replacement.
So we're still working through our procurement process. So remember, we did our demos. We have completed that. All of our reviews are in. The next step is to actually look at the financial bids, because we have not seen that. The process does not permit that until after the demos are done and the reviews of the technology and what they present is done. So we are waiting on that. I actually think that we're right on the timeline. I'm hoping that maybe by late September we will have awarded this to whatever vendor we're going to pick. So I think we're in good shape. So we're moving along, but we continue to make steps. Obviously, this is the time of year where finance is still catching up from the new budget, but we're just about ready to be able to roll pretty fast on this. So to follow up on that goes with it, we have a position, a CAD tech position, and we are doing reviews on those. And I hope to have that person hired as the contract is awarded so that they will begin to work with the vendor as we build the CAD. So
Awesome.
That's where we are.
Mr. Walker, I would just like to compliment you and your staff on the progress that has been made with this CAD project. I think that I can speak for all of us who have been on the front line in the service. We've been promised a new CAD at the end of the year every year for the last 10 or so. So the progress that you guys have been able to make and the work that you've done to get us where we are, where that actually might be true this year, is really exciting. So thank you for that.
Thank you. It has been a partnership with all of us included, so thank you.
So with fire and rescue, I mean, the feedback that those that were involved with the demo is everything
Good.
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 Awesome.
That's very good.
Great. Any other comments, questions?
No.
EMS supplemental staffing.
So I guess we could talk a lot about that. So where we are basically, and I'm going to probably call on Kirsten in just a bit. So as you know, the budget was approved. We received funding for 16 full-time EMTs, 4 full-time paramedics. We have hired those, and we've hired a large contingent of hourly employees, and those are put on duty as we need to fill in the holes, and that works very well. It kind of works where we post the open holes and then they sign up, and then we put them in service. I did go on the last commission meeting and asked to make supervisors. What they did approve was for us to pull from within the ranks that we've got hired, and then we would put them into service, and then we would backfill those positions with our hourlies. We have, in fact, selected those 4. Very easy selection for me in that they needed to be full-time and they needed to have, of course, the best qualifications. Our 4 paramedics were the easiest solution for that, so we have met with all of them and they've agreed to do so. We are getting ready to place them into service, and I think I'm going to call Kirsten up and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So some radio designation and a few other parts of how we're going to do that. One question that come up that I really need to address quickly is that the question was, how are we going to deploy them? What happens if you get on the scene? Who's going to take command of the scene? That's not the intent here. That's not what they're for. If they are on the scene and they are handling a patient and the local rescue chief gets on the scene and wants to take command, have at it. They've got it, they can take it. What I have expressed to the supervisors, number one, is patient care. So when the patient care is resolved or stabilized and another rescue chief gets on the scene and wants to take command of it, we can withdraw if we need to. That is not the intent. The intent is performance evaluations, discipline, all of the things that our county employees have to abide by. We have nobody out there watching them, but now we do. So that's what this is about.
So I had two comments, just really quickly before we get to our acting chief. First, I think one of the things that we lose track of sometimes is that in this whole process, not only are we integrating the new DES personnel into our system, but they're also building a structure to manage their personnel. And the step that we're talking about here with the supervisors is a personnel management step. It's not a scene management
Yes.
step. And that I think is something that has kind of gotten lost in translation because we tend to not, we tend to connect those things more.
Get lost, and I think that's a fair statement. But again, we've kind of really kicked this around a lot, and we have been very busy. But so that's where we are. So, and I think it's going to work well. I think they're excellent candidates to do this, and we're going to get them out working. We sat them down, went over our county personnel manual, some of the policies that we're going to do, and now we're going to start working it. So.
I'm sorry. The second thing I wanted to say is that I don't want anybody to come out of this conversation feeling like we cheated and just snagged these people because they were conveniently in a place. I mean, yes, we very, very conveniently had 4 exceptionally qualified people to do the job that we need to have done here. And I think what that does is it speaks to the quality of the people that you found in your hiring process, more than it speaks to we're going to throw these people in it out of convenience. Because I know all 4 of these individuals. These are folks who 3 out of the 4 of them came through our system. Who we collectively have a lot of background with, and who have a lot of experience in the kind of people that we want to have in these sorts of leadership roles. So I think that it's important that everybody recognizes that it's. On the surface, it can sound like we're just like tossing these people in because they happen to be, the 4 bodies that we needed for this thing in a spot. But I think it's a lot deeper than that. And like I said, I think that complements the process that you went through.
Thank you.
In the hiring and the caliber of personnel that you found.
Okay,
from
so,
start.
and I appreciate the comments very much, thank you. So, Mr. Stamey, of course, was our EMS chief. He has moved on. We hear that he's gotten a job in Montana as an EMS director, so we wish him well. We turn to somebody that really kind of helped build this because she was really leading the forefront when we hired about 50 people in about 3 weeks. And that's, of course, Kirsten Shea. She's our acting chief, and she's already really helping to stabilize what we're doing very much. So I appreciate her service. Kirsten, if you'll kind of start maybe by, just for who's watching, is go down the list of our acting supervisors. Let's name those so we can know who they are.
Okay, and the 4 acting supervisors that we have will be Jason Hopkins, Ashley Yost, Tammy Rayleigh, and Amy Miller. All of them are FTOs, like Sean said, have been in the system for quite a while. They bring a lot of experience. From there, where we are, we have the 4 full-time medics, and then we're bumping them up. We're going to backfill them with hourly personnel for the time being, and then we have our 16 full-time medics that have been hired. We also have, like he said, quite a few hourly employees, so we still have 5 hourly medics that we currently have on the staff, and we have 25 hourly EMTs. So currently, we have a total of 50 providers. We just conducted more interviews, so we're going to bring on 4 more hourly medics and 4 more hourly EMTs. So we'll be at about 60 personnel within the EMS division, and we also have the fiscal specialist and the EMS billing coordinator that also just started within the last week. So about 60 people right to EMS.
So obviously, we're trying to find where we're going to put our admin people and how we're going to build out that. we are getting ready to deploy them out into our county vehicles. And Kirsten, what was the call sign we're going to be using?
So the supervisors will be MDO for medical duty officer, and they'll just share that title. They're going to have a supervisor phone, and they'll rotate every shift as the MDO. That will be their primary vehicle. They'll be using one of the pickup trucks that we have ordered, and that's what they'll be assigned to
And then we've given them the title EMS lieutenant
in the rank structure.
in the rank structure, correct? And I
And
think-
are we going to, just a question, can we get that communicated, something sent out so we can get that out to all?
Once we're done all the logistics of that, I'm working on drafting an email about what they are going to be, what the phone number is going to be, the first line of contact, all of that. So that will all be going out.
Thank you.
And
Very well.
for the sake of completely transparent, this isn't something that's happened in a vacuum.
No.
I talk to Kirsten about as much as I talk to my mother, and I'm a mama's boy. I talk to my mama a lot. So the lines of communication about what this planning looks like and what they're doing, and they're working really hard to make sure that what we expect in our existing service that goes along with that rank that we're throwing out there matches up with what we expect from our folks that are in our existing volunteer service also.
And quite
So-
frankly, to backfill those positions, it's going to take some time to get those positions backfilled. So they are going to be the primary medic still for a period of time until we can get more people hired and on staff working. But it's a work in progress.
Good.
Now, for those that are watching, I mean, you've been able to fill 99.9% of the time slots
That's true.
that you need.
So when we first released the initial schedule for July, we had some holes initially. We were able to go back and fill just about 98% of those holes for the
There
month of
were two shifts that the county was asked for that they were not able to supply
Which
a
is
full
great
crew
about
for
what-
in July.
You guys have worked hard and been able to fill those slots so that we're not really missing a beat.
Yeah, for
Which
the
was our
month of
concern 2
August.
months ago, when we first started, were we going to be able to fill those slots? And then, the mutual aid that we had been getting from other counties,
Yeah, I talked to Sean and I
Way
told
down.
him that I was cautiously optimistic that we would be able to have the coverage that we have. So far, it's all came together. For the month of July and August, Company 6 requested additional staffing. Instead of just daytime, they requested nighttime staffing. In September, they are not requesting that. We did receive a new request from Company 59 to staff on Fridays. Previously, I believe they were doing Monday through Friday, and then they back a day. Now they're requesting that day. So I'm working on September's schedule now, and that will be released by the 15th of August.
well,
So
I just want to
hopefully,
congratulate you on, I mean,
Oh,
for a short
thank-
period of time, what you've been able to do is,
thank you. I appreciate it very much.
Great job.
It's been a team effort, though, honestly. The
Right,
people in
sure.
communications or in emergency services, Amy Bledsoe, Scott Rayleigh, Jay Mattingly. There's been a lot of people that have been working, Larry, Chris, everybody. It's been truly a team effort to get us where we are right now.
great, yep.
So we have a little bit of mutual aid, and we have a little bit of time, so I get an email every time there's a mutual aid, and I get one every time we go over 15 minutes. I can tell you that those occurrences are not because of staffing. It is because
Volume.
The call
it's a
volume.
bit, exactly, the calling volume is busy, and it occurs. It is very rare that those occur, but we do get them occasionally, and it's unavoidable, so, but we are doing well, so. very
Well,
happy with
and it ties back to the new CAD because some of the issues that we've been butting our heads against, as we all well know, some of the issues that we've been butting our heads against for the better. I mean,
That's true.
I've been a chief officer in this system for almost 15 years now. And, oh God, for over 15 years now. And in that entire time, it's been, if the CAD could, we could do these other things that everybody else on the planet seems to be able to do. So, we have a lot of things in the growth and evolution in our system that are all kind of coming to fruition here at the same time, which are really exciting, I think, for us, in the maturation of our system and in the service that we're able to provide to the people that we're doing stuff for. And I mean, and it's everything from getting the controlled substance safe stuff sorted out to getting, to new CAD, to what we're doing with our staffing, and the way that we have been able to build this thing, I think is It's kick-ass. We have done a really good work in this partnership, and I think one thing that bears being said is that while we have not always agreed necessarily, and while we have, we've certainly had and will have some growing pains as we make some of the transitions and the adjustments that we need to in order to do this thing, our partners at DES have afforded our volunteer service a level of respect and communication and influence in this process that is absolutely unprecedented in emergency services in this state. There is not another system where volunteers have been afforded the amount of say in what it is we're doing.
It's been a very collective involvement.
Absolutely, and I mean, and it's everything from the original sketch of what we're doing with supervisors and deploying them as lieutenants and what that looks like and what that structure looks like came out of a collaborative conversation. That's not something that DES is handing to us. That's something that they came to us and said, we need to make this a thing. Help. And I think that speaks really well to what we've been trying to do and mostly succeeding to do.
So far, we're good.
So far.
Any questions?
Is EMS billing up and running, or is that something that's...
So it's been very challenging. We have run into quite a bit of a difficulty with the company. IRS has been challenged. Medicare has been a challenge. You guys saw an email that I sent out today asking for registrations. It has been, now I know they are actively collecting and trying to get information to get it up and running. I'm not quite as happy with the company as I had hoped to be. They promised us to be up, but our two admin people are now working very hard to help. So I think it will be soon, but it's been a lot more challenging than we anticipated and not as easy as was promised by the company. So that's really where we are. So, but we are pushing and pushing every day, and I ask every single week, where are we? So we're getting there.
Well, now
And
having
Steve-
dedicated admin personnel
It's
would
going to make it a
help
whole lot
a lot.
easier. That's their sole focus, to try to get that up and running.
Yes.
That'll be
Yes.
great.
Right, and with your leadership of fixing CAD, fixing Harris, you kick those two things out, I have no reason to doubt that
We will get it done.
you'll get billing done.
Get it done,
So,
but
just like you
it's-
got this integration done. And
Yeah,
to echo
it's just-
Sean's comments, I think that, the leadership you provided and Kirsten, I think that we can't forget what you've done.
Absolutely not.
Getting we do have a unique model here in St. Mary's County in the state where we've really integrated the volunteers with the career service and under Director Walker's leadership. I think that,
Appreciate
we've
it.
seen the CAD, we've seen Harris. No doubt that the billing will be up and done soon.
So there's a lot of activity. So I know that they've reached out to the hospital for patient care. So it is ramping up, but I need to see a bit more progress to be happy with it. So, but it's coming. So.
Good. Great job.
Well,
Yep.
thank you.
Anything else? Nothing. Kirsten, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Harris radio system?
So the Harris system, main system is working well. Always knock on wood. We have gotten some complaints on our paging system. Now, Active 911 is a bit more complicated. That gets information from us, and every time we get a complaint, we check it, and our information is going to Active 911. So I don't know if Active 911 software is unreliable or just having difficulties. We've worked hard trying to keep that working adequately. Mr. Thompson has worked with them closely, done some realigning of the program to make it work a bit better. We're hoping that will continue, but that's been challenging because it doesn't really come under our direct control. Verizon has some parts of this, and of course Active 911. But we're working on that. Right now it's working okay. The paging is an interesting, I've done a lot of looking into where we are, and it's very interesting. So the P25 paging, that is the paging, the pagers that we bought, spent about $1 million on. That's working great. The VHF, which is really what we use VHF for, is two things. One is it is used for the siren notifications in the station houses, and it works. It works well. But those siren boxes are stationary. They're at each place. There are many first responders and many firemen and EMS that like to use the older pager, but sometimes it works well, very well. Sometimes it doesn't. We are actively working to make sure it does work well. There's some areas in Hollywood we seem to have some problems with. But the truth is, guys, that's our backup system. It is our backup system. We bought pagers, $1 million worth of P25, and some people won't use them. And that's really where we are. Some people will not use them. So they expect the our backup system, to be their primary. We will come to a point in the future, well, that won't even be turned on unless the 25 goes down. Because we will, one of the future plans is for our siren boxes to move over to the P25. We spent $1 million on this system, but not nobody, there's many that use it. There's some that will not use those pagers, and then sometimes the VHF doesn't work right. But it's our backup system. So we are continuing to make it work right. It has been a challenge, but our primary paging system is the P25 pagers that the county bought and gave out to the volunteers. So I'll try to answer your questions and I know this is some controversy. I know some people are frustrated with it, but that really is. I mean, I've taken a long look at that, and that is really where we are. So, but I'll be glad to answer any questions if I can.
No, I want to thank you and the staff. I know we had some paging issues and some station alerting issues, and you all handled those and addressed them right away, and it has been very, haven't had any problems recently.
Appreciate
so we appreciate the dedication you gave to that, your time, so I appreciate it. And we'll keep you notified if we have any additional problems. And they did have a very productive meeting on the Active 911. Jason Adams was also with Active 911. They've done some adjustments along with Chris Thompson about what is going in and what is being pushed to Active from the dispatchers, and that has been addressed, and it seems to
Jason's great. Jason has been extremely helpful.
Yes, he has. And I want
in
to
fact,
thank
when
him.
this first came up, it was their system, Bay District, that allowed us to come up on it. So he's been phenomenal.
He's done a great job. So, I think we got to the bottom of what that is. So we'll continue to monitor it. If we have any problems, we'll let you know. So, thank you.
All right, emergency services report.
So I think today's a special day. So I think it's somebody's birthday. So we got a card from you from Emergency Services, so happy birthday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So Gary's birthday is today, so if y'all want to sing, you can. You don't want to hear me sing, though.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday to you. There you go.
Thank you.
All right. So emergency services report. All right, so there's a couple things to touch on. One of the reminders for the board, if you could kind of put this on your radar, we need to bring this up in September. We're supposed to do a 3-year review of our bylaws. Now, when this was formed, and Dr. Gary, you were there, Sean, you were there, I think Hattie might have been there during when we first formed the Emergency Services Board at the direction of the commissioners. One of the things that I specifically put in was this, and that is when we started looking at the Emergency Services Committee, there was bylaws that hadn't been touched in about 25 years. So we really need to take a look at this and see if this is meeting our needs, our bylaws, see if there's anything that needs to be updated, anything from top to bottom. So I would ask if you all would begin to do that, and we'll come back and maybe start to look at it. I would say that you probably should maybe appoint somebody, or maybe I think we have a bylaws committee to maybe come back and give a report on where we are, but of course, all of us can contribute. But I think we just need to make sure that this is not something that's settling in and there's things that don't really apply. I think that's really the purpose. So just wanted to get it on the radar that, I'm going to put it on the agenda for the next meeting, which I think is September, right? For us to come back and address. So I think that was all I had.
It's October, right?
October, right. Let's see here. I don't think there's anything else on the emergency services report.
Maybe the 13th.
Yeah,
October.
I don't have anything else on that, so I think that was it. Or was there something else? Do you remember? Emergency services report. Okay, so that was all I had.
All right, LoSAP.
So LoSAP, the suggestion for the points that were to be added and adjusted during COVID were approved by the commissioners in a commission meeting. That's very good. The additional suggestions and recommendations that was headed up by Sean, they are going to the, what's it called, OPEB?
The LoSAP steering
The LoSAP
committee or
steering
something like
committee.
that. Yeah.
And that's going to be done later in this month, and that will be addressed. If that passes, then that will then go back to the commissioners, and commission will vote on it, whether they should support it or not. So, but that is in play, so that's a good thing. We should know by the end of the month whether this retirement board will support that or not.
Right.
And then certainly if they don't, you go back at them again with another recommendation, so.
They're supposed to have the analysis done by the
Yeah.
end.
Correct.
Sounds
And-
right.
Once that analysis is presented, I think then that'll bring up a public hearing, and then after public
Correct.
hearing, it will come forth to
And I-
Commissioner's Burbank.
I think it's the 25th, but don't quote me for sure on that, so.
I think that sounds about right, 25th, 27th, so.
But that's my report on LoSAP.
Cadet program, Kelly?
Yes, sir. Yes, so the cadet program, I am happy to inform everyone that we will be off to a great start. We are partnering with College of Southern Maryland to provide EMT instruction. Still working with MIFRE, and we've communicated with MIFRE from Director Mike Cox, and of course Steve Cox is right now our point of contact regionally. We still want to, of course, offer the fire courses, and our plan of action is to begin Fire 1 in January when the students come back from winter break.
Great news.
And they'll start with EMT, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. They're getting a good program out of CSM.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good.
And we've been working with April Rollins, and my understanding is we will have instructor Jennifer Szymanski. So many of the same instructors we've collaborated with in previous school years, and instructor Szymanski is wonderful, so.
We're happy.
Yes, good
Yes,
news.
very happy. And it looks like we'll be moving forward with 8 high schoolers right now. So, I do feel that, perhaps next school year, it'll be a little bit bigger of a cohort moving forward. But we are very excited for this group of students.
Now, would they be the only ones in that class, or would they be joined by others that?
No, my
Registered through CSM.
understanding is that there will be 2 or 3 adult students as well joining them.
Okay.
So, because they are registering through CSM, just like they would have done if MIFRE, right? So.
Yep. All right, anything else for Kelly?
Is there anything you need from us?
No, sir, not at this time. But like I said, we still have calendar details that we are going to be working out with MIFRE. Have not been able to schedule a date with Steve Cox yet, but I will absolutely bring it to your attention if we're unable to schedule a date in the very near future.
Are all of the classes scheduled to be at the firehouse in Hollywood again, or?
So EMT will actually be at the Leonardtown campus, and we've communicated with President Mattingly.
At the Tech Center campus? At the Forest Center?
I'm sorry, at CSM in Leonardtown.
Okay.
And then, so we communicated with President Mattingly at Hollywood that we will not be at the firehouse in the fall, but we look forward to returning there, and, we're very much looking forward to those fire courses.
After the winter break? Outstanding.
Yes.
They are very generous hosts at Hollywood Fire Department. You can tell them I said that about them behind their back.
Yes.
They're-
and very generous. And all of the members at Hollywood are very welcoming, kind. They will pop in to the classroom, offer their assistance when the cadets, interact with them during break time. The members say, "What are you working on? What can we do to help you?" It's great. So.
When you go to meet with Director Cox, if you'd like us to be there, we'd be more happy to be there to support with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I will very much keep you updated on dates and times.
You can compare Shandy bald heads with him.
Thank you, Kelly, and I know you've been busy and working through a lot of challenges, so
I appreciate your
it. Yep.
You're awesome.
so much.
Thank you.
Scholarship.
Hi, Angel.
Angel Clem from Emergency Services.
So the FY21 scholarship, we had 23 people submit for it. We have given out everybody their portion. We have $2,551.10 left. That's from 3 separate people. One has finished and graduated, so they had money left over. One was not able to take any courses, and one took 1 course, so she had some money left over. So again, like I said, we have $2,551.10 left over from the FY21 scholarships. Out of the 20 people that we have, we can take and reimburse everybody $127.55 if they went over the amount with their bills compared to what we have given them out of the scholarship, if you guys wish to do that, or we do not have to do anything with that at all, and we can just hang on to it and give it back to the county.
Will it roll
I
over
am
to
not
next
giving
year?
anybody back money in the government.
Could we give that to someone who did not register?
No. They've got to be, they have to have been
Okay.
on the approved.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can either split it up or hold it for the next distribution.
We can
Does it roll
not-
over or doesn't roll
Does
over?
not roll over.
So we either split it up or give it back to the county.
Correct.
Yeah. Split
Let's
it.
split it up.
So then
As a non-voting member, I support that.
I will go through and look at everybody's bills to make sure that they have an additional $127.55. If they do not, I will contact them to get any bills or
Yeah,
books from
yeah.
them.
We have a motion on that.
Regarding our FY22
Yes,
scholarships, we have only received 9 as of today. However, they do have until the 31st to turn in their scholarships, but if we can get out another email to the chiefs, or if you guys can try to get people to apply for the scholarship.
Okay.
Push it out. Let's get some people to
Please,
apply.
Yes. How much is that per person?
So it is not per person.
No,
The county gives $40,000, and then it is divvied up to the individuals based on how much their credits are and how many credits they plan on taking. It's a big logistical thing.
I'm saying out of the 2,551, how much would that come per
Oh,
person?
I'm sorry, $127.55 out of the 20 people, because 3 of them have given back their money that they did not spend.
I make a motion, we give $127.55 to each individual that's been registered, pre-registered for FY21.
I'll second.
A motion by CP, second by Hattie.
And this is dividing up the
Yes, the
Previous year.
the remainder stuff from,
$51 and stuff.
I'm good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So ordered. All right. Angel, anything else?
Right, did anybody have anything else for
Any
the
questions?
scholarships?
So the scholarship deadline is actually going to come between this meeting and next, and it's due to the commissioners before our next meeting.
Correct. And there is a motion for that as well.
So we need to decide how we want to manage approving or generating the list of approved applications for the new year, for the 22 scholarship money. What we did last time I coordinated that in my role as secretary with Angela and Mary Ann and made the list and we sent it in. But if we're going to do it that way, we need a motion, we need action from the board to approve that as being our path.
I make a
Making
motion
sense?
that we approve it as described by Sean due to the date coming up in between meetings of the commissioners.
Second.
We have a motion by Sean, second by CP.
So Sean, do you want to kind of re-explain what we did, just to make sure we understand?
Yep.
So what we do with it is the applications come into Angel in the DES office. She processes. She does all the math.
Oh, no.
But so all of the applications go into Angel. She puts all of the information together and sends it over to me and says, "This is what we've got," and we just do the even split. And we'll send it over to the commissioners because they've got to approve it between our two sets of meetings. It's a quirk of the way our meeting schedule works in comparison to the commissioners' meeting schedule that puts us in this position. And this is the third one we've done this way. Yeah.
Is
How many have you got so far for?
only 9 for
Only nine.
FY22.
Okay, we got to get that out.
Which is why Shake the Trees for applicants is there.
And so that is this upcoming school year or next fall?
So it starts in this school year, so 21.
People starting in like a
Anything
month
that
or
is
two.
incurred during FY22 is applicable
Okay.
in this.
So it starts when school starts, I think.
In a month or,
college
yeah,
starts.
a couple weeks.
Well, but I mean, if they did summer classes, the summer classes would count too, because they're in FY22.
Yes, depending on how the grades come through. If they get the grades before July, we cannot do it.
Okay.
But if it's.
Right, because it has to be inside the FY22.
Correct.
So like the, in the paramedic program, I know they started the A&P summer session in the middle of July. So they won't have their scores until the middle of August. So those are folks who would be able to apply
Correct.
that cost to the application. Can you resend that stuff to me so I can?
Yes.
Thank you.
I will do that
All
first
right,
thing
so we
in
have
the
a
morning.
motion and a second. All those in favor?
I will send it to
Aye.
everybody.
Opposed? So ordered. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep. So we have RSA representative.
Yeah, that's me too. Carol Boehm, who was the chair of the Ambulance and Rescue Squad Association, has stepped down from that position, which means she vacated her spot here on the board also because the chair of the association owns a seat on the board that's attached to the position, not the person. Ken Hicks, who is the president at Lexington Park Rescue Squad this year, was serving as the co-chair for Carol, and he has moved into that position, so he is the new representative for the chair of the Ambulance and Rescue Squad Association. And at our meeting on Thursday last week, the aforementioned April Rollins was elected to fill in Ken's position as the co-chair, so she will serve as Ken's alternate here on the board. So we didn't have that election before the materials were due for the meeting, so there isn't anything in writing to the board about April yet, but I'll send something to Mary Ann so we have something for the record. And when I forget, I just blithely said I would do that. You'll remind me because you're good at that. So that's the status of the RSA.
All right.
Do we need a motion to add them on there?
I think it's automatic. Yeah.
It just happens.
That's official, yeah.
Just put it in the minutes. All right, so we'll move into board member time. Is maybe, anyone have any comments or nothing?
I have a couple. You know, I never pass up an opportunity to run my damn mouth.
Go ahead, Sean.
So one thing on like a super happy, super happy note, the Stotler and Snyder family, who are longtime supporters and members at the Rescue Squad in Lexington Park, have been dealing with some health issues. Lorraine Snyder, whose children are both life members of our department and whose father is a life member of the department in the park, received a kidney transplant in the middle of the day today. And while we've been sitting here, I got a text that her new kidney seems to have taken, and she's already producing urine with her new kidney, which makes me very happy. So there's some bright spot news in the middle of some tense and gloomy stuff. So congratulations to Lorraine, and you know, if you're the kind that likes to keep people who are good and kind and decent uplifted in your heart, these are the kind of people that you want to be doing that with. So I would encourage that. Second thing I wanted to mention is that I know that there have been some comments and some articles and things in some of the local media, specifically regarding the emergency department at MedStar St. Mary's Hospital, and how they interact with us in the EMS world, and what their turnaround times and things look like there. And I just want to say, you know, every single provider of emergency care is in a position right now where they are under unprecedented pressures. And at a time when we are seeing a renewed surge in COVID cases, thank you, Delta variant, and we are still taking precautions to try and our level best to keep people safe in a healthcare setting. It is just important that we maintain our patience with folks who are working really hard in really difficult circumstances to support us and to take care of us and to do what they can for us. I know we have a really good partnership in the EMS world with the folks at MedStar St. Mary's Hospital. They have been advocates for us and with us and helped us in a lot of ways. And they continue to work really hard to get us in and out as fast as is humanly possible and as fast as circumstances allow for, and to do everything that they can do to do it safely. So I understand that not everybody is happy about everything that, you know, that they might have to put up with right now, but at the same time, suck it up a little bit. You know, there are a lot of people who are working really hard to get us, you know, to get us through the other side. One of the things that I think is important also for folks to remember is that when you're dealing with that person who's on the front line in the emergency room or on the floor or wherever, you're dealing with somebody who is constrained by corporate policies to a certain extent with what they can and can't do. So venting your spleen at those individuals because of things that are beyond their control is counterproductive, and it makes things worse for everybody. The last thing I'm going to say is that St. Mary's County Health Department continues to offer COVID testing and COVID shots. If you have not been vaccinated, please, for the love of God, go get your shots. There's nothing experimental about this thing. There's a lot of really good data about it now, too, that is readily available. As long as you're not looking at Facebook for your news, you should be able to find some really good information. And you know, like I said, we're seeing a surge again in cases. Kirsten and I actually sat through the jurisdictional advisory council meeting this morning, wherein a significant portion of the state medical director's report today was on COVID and COVID cases. And we're starting to find ourselves in a position again where larger numbers of people are contracting COVID, and they are sicker. So the proportion of folks who are requiring advanced care is higher, even though the numbers are a little bit lower. So we're still seeing that as a stressor on our systems. Do yourself a favor, get your shot, wear your mask when you go out. I know it's not convenient. I know it's not fun. I know there's people that are mad because the school board's going to, protect your kids. How dare they? Just, protect yourself, protect the people around you, protect the people who can't be vaccinated by getting vaccinated yourself. I'm going next week to do some more off-site shots for the folks at the health department, and they are doing shots regularly at the campus here in Leonardtown. I know that we are watching for information on recommendations for boosters, and are likely going to be asked to participate in some more large-scale events like we did at Hollywood Firehouse over the summer. So, be mindful and be good to each other. Thank you.
All right, anybody else?
I just got one good door. Just want to let everybody know that the Hollywood Volunteer Fire Department will be hosting their annual carnival. Didn't have it last year, so it wasn't annual, but it'll start next Thursday, the 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So it'll run Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then it'll also run Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday the following week, the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th.
Do you know what Ridge's dates are?
I do not.
So they'll be soon.
Theirs will be the
soon
week
after.
after. Yes.
Yeah. All right. With that, call for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by CP, second by Hattie to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.